Great. I am so excited to be here today. I am so excited to be here today, I almost showed up last month when I wasn't supposed to be here. And what we're discussing today, and I heard in the Walking on Water list about the new minister that one of the things that you desire is to have Q&A at the end of the service or at the end of the talk. I'm not sure where you have in mind putting that, but I love doing that. So maybe we can think about that for next month if I can get a sense maybe from Carol about where you would like that to go, so that it's more of a conversation, because I see my role here this morning as sharing with you my thoughts and feelings about
It's flying high. You know how I feel. Sun in the sky. You know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by.
You know it, right?
You know how I feel. It's a new dawn. It's a new day. It's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. I feel so good. I feel so good.
That's it. Thank you very much. So, thank you. So, don't you love that song? Nina Simone. And then Michael Bublé doing Nina Simone. Anyway, so Centers for Spiritual Living a couple of years ago developed themes for every month for any of the centers that wanted to participate. And the theme for today is It's a New Dawn, meaning that we have the opportunity to step in to a new dawn, not tomorrow, not 5 minutes from now, but now. And when I was reading about the theme for today, the minute I read that phrase, it's a new dawn, we had to hear that music. Because that song really talks about what it means to be in a new dawn. The things we notice, the things that energize us, the things that engage us, noticing the sun, noticing the birds, right? Noticing all of the wonders that are around us. And the crux of the matter about it being a new dawn is recognizing that every single moment, I'm not talking about every day now, even though it's true about every day, but every single moment is a do-over. Every single moment. I read in Marianne Williamson this week a piece about the only place where eternity and linear time meet is in this moment. That's where it meets. Whoa. Got a little too hot. That's where it meets. That's where the opportunity, the potential, the juiciness of possibility is all just sitting there and we collide with it. If we're awake, if we're engaged, if we're actually intentional about being in the moment. Now, I might be the only one, and nobody has to raise their hand, but does anybody else here ever think about the past or the future? Ever. Even if you don't, I know you know people who do. And the thing about the past and the future, even though we've all heard this a million times, Spirit told me this morning I had to make sure you heard it again. The past is ancient history, and the future is not yet materialized. So, the other way of saying that is that we can be in the moment, or we can be on the road of shoulda, woulda, coulda, or we can be on the road of if, when, then. And shoulda, woulda, coulda, we can't do a thing to change. That story is over. And if we are still fascinated by the past, and all of us are carrying around some threads from the past, we can't help it, right? This isn't a matter of cutting ourselves off or isolating ourselves from the past. We're all carrying around something from the past. The thing is when we find ourselves hanging out there, one of my teachers in ministerial school would say, pitching a tent. When you find yourself pitching a tent in the past, you can't engage in the present because you can't do both at the same time. It is impossible. And if we are on the road of if, when, then, and we are enthralled by whatever, or not so enthralled, by whatever we're projecting for the future, because some of our projections aren't so enthralling, are they, about the future? How many of us always, and always is the most important word here, how many of us always think only about the best possibility when we think about the future? Every single time, without exception. Me too, by the way. But I didn't grow up that way. I grew up in a family that spent a lot of time on shoulda, woulda, coulda, and if, when, then. So I had to learn, thank heavens for this teaching, oh my gosh. I had to learn the difference it makes in my life to at least give equal time to the best possibility. Because if we find ourselves thinking about the worst possible outcome, what chance does the best possible outcome have? We aren't creating that. We aren't engaged in that, right? So being in this moment is where the new dawn is. It is where we can tap in to that unlimited potential that is the truth of our being. Stand here in this now moment and go, okay, what is my best next? Engaged with our teeth in it, actually so in our life that we aren't missing anything. You know, the other thing about the past and the future is that they're life thieves. Because I have a client, for instance, and I have her permission to obviously not share her name, but share this about her. I've been working with her since she was probably 31 or 32. And this year she turned 39. And she has done deep, profound work and made significant changes in her life and experienced huge shifts in her life. And we are still talking about her turning 40, which is a conversation we started having when she was 31. I am not kidding. And she has been worried about turning 40 all the way through her 30s. Don't you think she missed some stuff? Because when we are focused on something like that, we don't even know what is passing us by, which is why I call it a life thief. We aren't living. We're just engaged in fantasizing or projecting about what might be. And at least some of the people we know do that in a way where they're focused on the negative outcome or the worst case scenario. So what difference does it make? How can we tell? You know, one of the questions that I get asked so often as my opportunity to be of counseling support is, well, what about my bank account? What about my flat tire? What about my broken widget? What about my broken whoozits? What about... That's what's real, right? Well, actually, not so much. In our teaching, we learn that what we perceive as real outside of us has everything in the world to do with us. And that's true whether you're a religious scientist or not. Psychologically, philosophically, scientifically, perception has everything to do with the observer. What we are experiencing and how we are experiencing it and what it looks like and how it feels has everything to do with the person who is looking at it, who is us. Now, the little key to such a big door of a changed life by being in the moment, when we call the fullness of that attention to perceiving what is right in front of us, not everything in the universe, but what is right in front of us, with that fullness of attention, we can see it clearly. And we can see it for what it is. And most importantly, we can choose how we are going to respond to it, or what we're going to do with it, if anything. We can look at our bank account, for instance, and rather than seeing it as a sentence to future doom, we can look at our bank account, be grateful for whatever amount that says. Everybody breathe. Really. Be grateful for whatever that amount says and recognize it as today's information. Because that information, if the more present we are, the more open we are to all that is available to us. The more open we are to the unexpected, to the serendipitous, to what we sometimes would call miracles, but we can actually experience so often that they become ordinaries. By being present in the moment, we are more available. I am sure that you have heard this expression before. That God can only do, or the universe can only do, or Spirit can only do, whichever name you're the most comfortable with. God really doesn't care what we call it. as long as we call. What we are available to has to come through us. So while we might be looking out there, understandably, because that's the human habit, looking out there for the answers, the solutions, for this person to straighten out, for that person to get it right, for the other person to apologize, whatever the case may be, we're missing the opportunity. We're missing the living of our life because it's not up to them. It never was up to them. It's up to us. It's up to us to stay in touch with our joy. It's up to us to stay in gratitude every single moment. It's up to us to find the beautiful. It's up to us to look in each other's eyes and smile. It's up to us to be so full of love we cannot help but give it away. And all of those things, when I mention love, gratitude, joy, can you feel your interior kind of opening? Just kind of going, that feels better. Doesn't love feel better? Doesn't joy feel better? Doesn't gratitude feel better? Personally, I go for what feels better. And I know that back in the 60s that meant a whole different thing, but, or so I was told. Anyway, because I can tell if I'm in the moment, if I'm open. The minute I'm not in the moment, I'm constricted. I can tell. Because my energy isn't all aligned and flowing and available. How much time do I have left? Okay. Because I need to digress for a second and just share this with you. What is this business about life can only work for us by working through us? What the heck does that mean? Does that mean that we're being held hostage to get it right all the time? Does that mean if we don't pray right, obviously our prayer wasn't answered the way we thought it was going to be, so does that mean we got the words wrong? What the heck does that mean? Does that mean that there really is this judge sitting there that we were told about, some of us when we were growing up, that is holding us accountable for all of this, and that's why things aren't working out? No, no, and no. What it really is that we are in our own way. We are the ones who say, I can't. We are the ones who say, I'm too old, I'm too tall, I'm too short, I'm not enough, whatever. We're the ones. And whether or not we're conscious of it, we can tell what we're doing because we don't feel open. When we feel constricted, when we feel tight and anxious inside, it's like standing on the hose of our good. Flow cannot get past that constriction. Can you see? Well, thank you very much. I love affirmations like that. It was like a wink from God. So, how do we face the bank account? How do we face the diagnosis? How do we face the news about a friend's diagnosis? How do we face whatever and keep our foot off the hose? Let's see how long I can stand here. Not long. Because the how is in here. It's not up here. How is an unanswerable question when we're trying to figure out how something will work, how it can happen, how it can resolve, how it can be solved. That's all up here. And that is not where creation happens. Unless we want more of what we've got. Because all of what we've got was created with this. The thing about the mind, as brilliant as it is, the brain, as brilliant as it is, and oh my God, there's no arguing that, right? Is that it cannot take us to places where it has not been. Let me say that again. The brain cannot take us to where it has not been. So it collects evidence for experiences that are going to look like ones we've had. Which is why we find ourselves, some of us, or some people we know, find ourselves looking at the possibility of something and saying, well, it's probably going to go like that. Because that is what the brain has filed away as a connecting the dots. If it looks like this and tastes like this and smells like this and acts like this, it's going to turn out this way. Which leaves no possibility for the new, right? The brain cannot take us where the heart can. The brain cannot take us where our own fearless, standing in our knowing can. To fearlessly stand in our knowing, we have got to be in the now. Not somehow split between the past and the future and a little bit being given to now. Can't happen. So there are some tools we can use. Would you like to know them? Easy. First one, easiest, works every time. And you're doing it anyway. Sound good? Breathe. 3 intentional, deep breaths will center you in right now. Immediately. 3 intentional, deep breaths. And the really cool thing is you can do it while you're talking to somebody else and they'll never know. You can do it while you're on the phone. You can do it while somebody is saying some really weird things to you. You can do it while you're in traffic on the freeway, and I highly recommend it. You can do it anytime, and you're doing it anyway. 3 intentional, deep breaths. Next, if you don't have a meditative practice, because for those who do, just keep doing it. Maybe mix it up a little. If you've always done it the same way, maybe try something new, like a walking meditation, for instance. But if you don't have a meditative practice and you think maybe it's hard, and you've never quite gotten the hang of all that sitting business and the position and all that stuff, forget about it, as my friends from New York would say. Find something you do anyway and make it a meditative practice. Washing dishes, doing laundry, walking the dogs, gardening. Because the point is, it's not the thing. It's the quality of our presence in it. And it is our availability, it's our willingness to send the brain on a mission. Tell it to go solve world peace or something. Send the brain on a mission, give it a timeout, and take a timeout for yourself. We all need them. And all of this helps us remember in the moments that are feeling, where we're feeling like, oh my God, I should have done that, and it was already 5 minutes ago, or what am I going to do when I get there? Right now, right here, is where the moment of creation is. And it is the only place that it is. And this moment, and the next moment, and the next moment, and the next moment. So every single moment is a new dawn. Every single breath is a new dawn. The subject of age came up during the birthday thing, right? Carol, timeless and ageless, that's your answer. Okay, so I have a little something to share with you at the end from one of my all-time favorites, Ralph Waldo Emerson. Write it on your heart that every day is the best day in the year. He is rich who owns the day, and no one owns the day who allows it to be invaded with fret and anxiety. Finish every day and be done with it. And I would add, and call it good. You have done what you could. Some blunders and absurdities, no doubt, may have crept in. Forget them as soon as you can. This is a new day. Begin it well and serenely, with too high a spirit to be encumbered with your old nonsense. This new day is too dear, with its hopes and invitations, to waste a moment on yesterday's or tomorrow's. Thank you. So standing in this now moment, in this sacred space, so filled with love, so filled with joy, so filled with the desire for more and more and more good to be the experience of all in a world that works for all. I know that the one power, the one presence, the one life that I call God is the only life there is. If it's one, it's all and all, it's the only. And as the only, it is my life, it is our life, it is the life of everything seen and known and yet to be seen and known. And so as I know that my life is that life expressing, and our life is that life expressing, as I speak this word, I know that as the arms and legs of God, I am excited to stand in this now moment and look only as far ahead as my foot will go. What is my new next, I ask, and the way is made clear and straight and smooth and obvious. Everything within my heart and mind is uplifted by the awareness that all is held in the one. I know that we are safe, that we are guided, guarded, and protected as we move from this moment to the next moment to the next moment, saying yes to the invitation to allow God to express through us without condition or restriction. I know that every desire of our heart is known, and the answer has always been yes. And so in profound appreciation for the truth of all that has been spoken, for the tenderness and love and sweetness and brilliance of every heart here, and every heart who is touched by every heart here. I accept the fulfillment of this word as already so, knowing that the law of mind works immediately, responding by corresponding. And there is nothing left for me to do but allow it to be, as together we affirm, and so it is.